Well, anytime that you beat Ohio State, it's a great moment, and I say that because of the terrific coach they have, the program, and the history in this NCAA tournament. You know, you look at their senior class, I believe they were a part of a Final Four team, an Elite Eight team, several Big Ten championships. So you're playing a team that knows how to win and has been in this type of setting. So going into a game against them, you know you're going to be tested, and we were. Their zone defense had us playing very tentative for a duration of the game. I really felt like we started to get control towards the latter half of the first half, but in the second half, we clearly got the basketball around the rim. Even some of the shots we missed were better shots, whereas in the first 10 minutes, we looked very, very tentative. And that's to Ohio State's credit. But our guys did an excellent job on D'Angelo Russell. I thought we defended with a lot of purpose, and we won our way. You look at the rebounding, 43-26. To me, that was the difference in the game, and we're obviously excited to be moving to the Sweet 16.
The question I put to TJ, if you could respond on his game today and the stat line, and just sixth player in the history of NCAA to do that.
Well, I've said it all along. You know, he's our most valuable player because of what he's done consistently over time, but also what a talented defensive player that he is. You know, it's never a one-on-one game, you know, TJ versus D'Angelo Russell, but TJ guarded him throughout the course of the game, and I thought did an outstanding job. I mean, you watch D'Angelo Russell play in a Big Ten season. He's an amazingly talented offensive player, and for TJ to impose his will, work as hard as he did on that side of the ball, you know, a lot of times that player doesn't have enough on offense to help you. But when you look at what he does for us on both ends, you know, he's like an All-American player. He reminds me a lot of what Aaron Kraft gave Ohio State for so many years. TJ has meant that to our program, not just the last 2 years, but he practiced with us 3 years ago, and I'm telling you, he made our team better even in that year. He's, I think, one of the best players that's playing in college basketball right now.
Sean Kerry Eggers, Portland Tribune. Gabe York scoreless in the last game. What was the difference today?
Well, he got a couple good looks, especially in the second half, and I thought Gabe's answer was correct. In the first half, we were very tentative, and we weren't able to break him free because the ball didn't get into the middle, and we didn't move it well enough. Even a couple of the shots that he took in the first half were almost desperation. Second half, he got some great looks, and Gabe's a very good shooter. You know, if you've followed us, I would say over the last 6 weeks, you look at his points per game, his minutes per game, he's really emerged, and tonight was another great example. We needed him, and he delivered, and he's really a big part of what we've done all year long.
Paula Bovin, Arizona Republic, and it's sort of from the obvious question, but what Gabe did tonight, is that when you were recruiting him a big reason why you brought him to Arizona?
Yes, and, you know, Gabe deserves a lot of credit because in today's world, if you don't play a lot as a freshman, you have those people that are pulling and tugging you to transfer and go to another program. Gabe and his family have always shown great trust in our staff and myself, and we knew that his best would be when he's older. A year ago, he was a huge factor on last year's team, started for most of the year, but he's improved. He does more things now as a player, as a junior, than he ever has before. But, you know, he's practiced 300 times. He's been around for 3 years. And a lot like T.J. McConnell, they sometimes become your heart and soul and best players because they know how to do it. They've invested in their hearts in the right place. So anytime a guy like that has success, you're elated as a coach. And I find myself, you know, for TJ and Gabe today, you feel great for them because of how hard they've worked.
Antonio Gonzalez with the Associated Press. Coach, I know you've had a couple of concerns in each of the first 2 games with your team, but how do you feel about it moving forward into next weekend?
I feel great. You know, we've weathered a couple of storms. I think we've learned in this region, this tournament, a couple things that this week leading to LA that we have to make sure we're sharp and ready to go. And now that we have 2 more games on a neutral court, I think it becomes easier to go out there and be yourself as an individual player. Stanley's a great example. He now has played 2 tournament games. I think it becomes easier to be himself in the third tournament game. So I feel good about us. You know, we've played some excellent basketball, and looking at how our conference is doing, you know, UCLA, we want to congratulate them on also being a part of the Sweet 16. We have Utah out here. Oregon won yesterday against Oklahoma State. So that's 4 teams that have advanced, and I think that also says a lot about our team, how we've done in our conference against all of those people.
Sorry, Coach. Richie, News 4 Tucson again. We've seen it all year, obviously, and Rondé gets a lot of credit for defense, and you mentioned TJ, but at times you're even throwing a guy like Elliott Pitts sometimes on the team's best player. Just in this NCAA tournament, how important is that defensive rotation against these other team stars?
Elliott's very important. You know, he has some qualities of both Rondé and TJ defensively. You know, he's much taller than TJ. He might even be a little more laterally quick than Rondé, as hard as that is to believe. But he's a good third person to be able to mix in, play through foul trouble, use our depth. And Elliott has always done a great job of embracing that role off the bench. He's also an excellent shooter, and it was great to see him make one here tonight because we're going to need him to be able to take and make those open shots here in the tournament.